Welcome back to the shooting channel. I've been looking around on YouTube and a lot of people do guns versus other guns, like Beretta versus Browning, Browning versus Miroku. They do two guns. And the one thing I haven't seen on anything on YouTube is the three big manufacturers, which is Beretta, Browning and Miroku, the MK38. And nobody has actually taken those three guns and compared them with each other. So in this episode, I've got the Miroku MK38 Sporter, I've got the Browning 525 Sporter, and I've got the Beretta Silver Pigeon Sporter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the individual differences between them, and then we're going to have a little shoot with each one, and I'm going to talk to you about the different guns in handling. And I'm going to be honest, all three of these guns are all very, very good guns. They have been around for a long time. They are always on the market. They're always on the top of their game. They all retail at between £1,500 and £2,000. They are all what I would call Olympic winning guns. The only difference is, so Beretta and Browning have both won Olympic medals and world medals, but the guns that they use are tailor-made. The Miroku has won Commonwealth gold medals, world medals off the shelf. So that is really on the big world scene. That is the only gun, that is the difference between them. They've all done the same thing. You can win championships with them, but the Miroku tends to get the very much the bottom end sort of look upon. And I'm going to be honest, I think Miroku is just as good as the other two. It just depends on whether they fit you or not. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to start the Miroku. I'm going to start from the back. It's got a fairly hard recoil pad. Miroku MK38s tend to be quite high in the cone because they have made from they came from the MK38 trap gun. That was the first one, which had fairly big, a fairly thick fore-end, big stock, and then they produced the Sporter off the back of the MK38, so it very much feels like a heavy trap gun. Pistol grip, again, quite small, but if you've got reasonably, quite big there in the pistol grip actually, if you've got reasonably big hands, does tend to fit in the hand grip quite nicely. Adjustable trigger, selective safety catch, very plain engraving. They tend to keep the engraving quite plain. The same as the wood, quite plain wood on the grade 1, just with MC Miroku MK38 Sporter there. Sporting fore-end, non-ventilated barrels, ventilated ribs. They come with 5 chokes. 3 of them are the Browning Invector chokes, 2 of them are Teague chokes. And it comes with a cardboard box. So that's the general difference with the MK38. Moving on to the 525. Again, the first thing I feel is the weight difference. The MK38 is about sort of £8. This is just under £8. This and the Beretta are just about the same type of weight. It's got the proper soft, brand new soft 525 Browning Inflex recoil pad. Again, being the grade 1, it's quite high in the cone, quite plain wood. Stock, very similar dimensions to the Miroku. Adjustable trigger, again, if you looked at the Miroku, it was silver. This one is gold. Selective safety catch, a little bit more engraving. On the 525, got Browning, a 525 Sporter 1 there. Slim sporting fore-end, ventilated barrels, ventilated ribs, internal Browning Invector Plus chokes. They come with 5, but they're all internal. And when you mount the gun up, it does feel quite a lot lighter than the MK38. So that is the 525. And then we've got the Beretta. Again, starting from the back, it feels heavier than the 525, but it doesn't feel as heavy as the Miroku. So, Beretta's normal recoil pad on the back. Again, pistol grip is a little bit smaller than the 525 or the Miroku, so if you put your hand in there a little bit, doesn't quite fit my hand as much as the Browning or the Miroku does. Gold trigger, again, non-adjustable gold trigger. This is the sporting version. Again, sporting on the other two are both adjustable triggers. These are not. Selective safety catch. Safety catch, if you look on the Beretta, is slightly different. Very traditional, very Italian, traditional, rounded. If you look at the Browning and the Miroku, very square. Typical Italian engraving, a Beretta engraving. Silver Pigeon there, Beretta logo there. Engraving all round the action. Fore end, very slim, sporting fore end. Ventilated barrels, ventilated ribs. Again, multi-choke, comes with 5 Beretta chokes. Internal, not external. So that's one thing that you could say about the Miroku and the Beretta and the Browning, is the Miroku comes with 2 external cheek chokes, and the Browning and the Beretta come with all internal chokes. The Miroku comes with a cardboard box, and the Browning and the Beretta both come with an ABS case. It's not as heavy as the Miroku, but it's a little bit heavier than the Browning. Again, wood to metal finish on them all, pretty much perfect. I mean, they're all good guns. They're going to be good value for money. Retail wise, the Miroku is just under £2,000. Browning is the cheapest. It comes in about £1,600–1,700, and the Beretta is about £1,900 for the grade 1s. And that is, again, that does vary from what shop you go to. Generally, Mirokus, you won't find them much less than £2,000, and they're quite hard to come by. But the Browning and Berettas, give or take £50, £100, but that's generally roughly the price range. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot each gun, and I've picked my Fiocchi TT1s, thanks to Fiocchi, test 28 gram, and we're going to shoot a few with each gun, and we're just going to go through each one and review each one, and I will talk to you a little bit about each one, what we're doing with it. So I'm going to start with the Miroku first. Again, very basic, silver trigger. I'm going to say the Miroku is more geared up to seriously, MK38 is more geared up to seriously competitive clay shooting market than probably the other two. The other two are very entry level. You see a lot of people on the clay shooting scene still with Mirokus that have shot for years and years and years and won lots of things. I would generally say Miroku is probably one of the top clay shooting guns on the market. Paul? Paul? Biggest first thing I would say about the Miroku is, if you're looking for a slightly lighter gun, if you're looking for a gun that can do everything with, I mean, somebody my age, I would go and shoot game with this, I'd shoot everything with this. If you're that little bit older, it is a heavy gun to walk around. Even on 100, when you're walking around a claymate course or something like that, it's a real heavy beast. But from a clay shooter's point of view, that is what clay shooters are looking for. It's got no recoil whatsoever. It's got no muzzle flip. It is there to break clays. That is what they're aimed at. And I'm going to be honest, it does the job. I mean, you look at how many people, I can think Steve Walton won double Commonwealth gold medals with this. There's numerous world titles, British Opens, been won with the MK38. So it is the best clay shooting gun on the market for the money. If you want to move up from this, really you'll go into the XS Pro or the Browning Pro Sport. But for the money, yes, I think that's really good. My couple of knocks is, it is heavy, and if you're looking for a gun that you can walk around the field with or walk around a claymate course, probably not your gun for you, because you're probably not going to be able to cope with shooting 200 clays or 200 cartridges in a day with it, because it will make you tired. But other than that, if it was me, that is my perfect gun. That's the gun I would have over the 3 for myself. The next gun is the Browning 525. Now again, the first thing I would think, I can feel the weight difference in this compared to the Miroku. Paul? pull, pull. First thing I think is it is easier to move. So again, probably one of the most used gun on the market, and it's the most used gun because it's easy to move. It's not heavy, it's not a lump, it's easy to move. So if you're looking for a gun to shoot a bit of game with or to have a bit of fun with around a clay course, probably the gun for you. Pull, pull. So that is the Browning 525. Again, the biggest thing I'm finding out here is the biggest thing you want to do when you're picking a gun, and this is why I wanted to pick these three guns, because everyone has heard of the Silver Pigeon, the 525 and the MK38 Miroku. Everyone's heard of them. They're the most bulletproof guns on the market. But if you're looking to buy one of these guns, make sure, don't go to your local gun shop, find your local shooting school, go and try all three and see what handles the best for you and what fits you. And if you don't agree with me, comment below. Comment if you agree with that. Comment where you feel like we can do better. But each of these guns, I can't knock any of the three guns. So if you want a specific gun for a specific reason, one of these three guns has got that. So if I wanted to go out and I wanted to win the CPSA registered shoots or the British Open or something like that, I'd probably err towards the MK38. If I wanted to have a gun that was a little bit more versatile, a little bit lighter, that I could use for my whole family, something like that, probably the 525. So it just depends what you want. If I was a really, really big chap, I'd err towards the MK38, because that is the difference, and this is where you need to go to your local shooting school and find the correct gun for you. So, and my last one is the Beretta Silver Pigeon. Again, my first thoughts is weight-wise, this is in between the Miroku and the Browning. It's not as light as the 525, but it's not as heavy as the MK38. Pull. 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 Again, I'm going to be honest, the biggest thing that I felt with this is the pistol grip slightly smaller there. So if you've got small hands, it would probably suit you better if you're a slightly smaller person, because generally the whole thing's just slimmed down. Still a 12 bore, still work, I still hit everything with it, but everything's just slightly slimmed down to that spec. So again, if you look at each gun, and I would say all three, if I stand them all like this, you can actually see them next to each other, and you can see the difference, how big the pistol grips are, how small. And this is really where you're looking. Look at the actions, very deep action there, slightly shallow action, very deep and heavy action there. So this is where you need to be thinking. And again, I will repeat it again, this is where you need to be thinking. Don't go to your local gun shop, on your local Beretta, Browning, Miroku shooting school, and go and ask the experts. Book yourself in a lesson and go and shoot all three like I have. Because again, depending what you want to do, depending what you want to get out of the sport, or whether you just want to have it as a hobby, is where you will fit each three of these guns. And they are all three of these guns. And I'm going to be honest, I know Miroku is advertised less than the other two. Miroku is up with those three guns at the same time. And all three of these guns are all very good guns. They've been around for years and years and years. They're always on top of their game. And they are all good guns, but they're different. So that's really the answer. Browning, Beretta, Miroku versus each other. Comment below. Comment if you agree with what I said. Comment if you agree with going to your local shooting school and going and testing and finding out which one suits you the best. I hope you've enjoyed this programme. I hope you enjoyed my Browning Beretta Miroku versus and picking between all three guns. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. Don't forget, join the membership for as little as $2.99 a month, and please, please, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us to give you content like this. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.